The room fell silent as the gavel struck the mahogany bench, echoing like thunder in the heart of the courthouse. Tension wrapped itself around the walls of the Senate Judiciary Committee like a snake, squeezing tighter with every second. All eyes turned to the man at the center of it, awe-retired Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, his silver hair neatly combed, his glasses resting on a nose that had once looked down on generations of brilliant minds, and seated across from him, with a quiet fire in her eyes, was Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, ready to fight for the respect that women, especially black women, are so often denied. "You know," Breyer said, voice cool and composed, "back in my day, we didn't see women in this room, certainly not like this." A hush swept the chamber. "Like this." Jasmine leaned in, her voice calm but razor-sharp. "Could you clarify what you mean by that, sir?" Breyer didn't flinch. "Women with loud voices, with too much emotion. Politics, lots not meant for, well, not for people who don't know how to keep their place." Gasps erupted. Some senators shifted uncomfortably, others smirked behind their hands. But Jasmine Crockett didn't move. Her stare bore into him like sunlight through glass. And then she spoke, not with the fury many expected, but with a quiet power that could move mountains. "I've been a public defender, a civil rights attorney, and now a congresswoman. I've defended the voiceless, challenged systemic injustice, and fought for those whose stories were never meant to be told in rooms like this one. And every step of the way, men like you told me I didn't belong." Her voice quivered. "With fear, but with truth. You see emotion as a flaw. I see it as the humanity we're fighting for. You see loud as a nuisance. I see it as the only way to be heard in a world that silences women who dare to speak. And you think I don't know my place? I do. My place is here. At this table, in this conversation, leading it." The chamber was still, and then she leaned forward. "You know what's different today, Justice Breyer? I'm not here to ask for permission to speak. I'm here to make sure the next girl doesn't have to ask either." A long silence followed. Judge Breyer's shoulders seemed to sag, his carefully curated confidence cracked. He looked down, away from the congresswoman who refused to bow. I didn't mean to," his voice faltered. "I guess I didn't realize how deep those words could cut. You're right. I've spent a lifetime sitting in judgment. But maybe it's time I started listening." His hands trembled slightly. For a moment, he looked far older than his years. "I was wrong," he whispered. Jasmine nodded. "We all are sometimes. But what matters is what we do next." That moment would become viral, replayed on every major news outlet and social media platform for weeks. But beyond the headlines, beyond the likes and retweets, it was something deeper that people remembered. A woman refusing to be dismissed. A man confronting the consequences of a quiet prejudice passed down through centuries. And a country watching as the winds of change blew through one of its oldest institutions. Later that evening, Jasmine sat quietly in her office, alone, a cup of tea warming her hands. She didn't feel triumphant. She felt tired but proud. The kind of tired that comes from pushing a door open, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's ever been told they don't belong. She picked up her phone and opened a message from a young girl in Detroit. "I saw you today. I want to be like you. Thank you for making space for girls like me." Jasmine smiled through tears. That was it. That was the reason. Because this fight, this endless, exhausting, beautiful fight was never just about her. It was about all of us. And in that moment, Judge Stephen Breyer, sitting in his own quiet corner of the world, wiped away a tear of his own, not out of guilt, but from the revelation that sometimes the most powerful verdicts don't come from the bench, but from the bravery of those who stand up and speak when silence is the easy way out. Message: change doesn't come from comfort, it comes from courage. Never let anyone tell you that you don't belong, especially when your voice is exactly what the world needs to hear.